Hello, this is lesson 98, temperature. So this is Saxon's tricky way of getting you to think about positive and negative numbers. You do need to know how to read a thermometer, but in Florida, we don't get down below zero ever, often. I don't know. I don't remember it and I'm old. So they say that numbers greater than zero are positive numbers. So those are all the positive numbers. Numbers less than zero are negative numbers. So these are negative numbers. Zero is neither positive nor negative because there's nothing there. Okay. So negative numbers we write with a little negative sign in front. Okay? It kind of looks like subtraction, and we'll figure that part out next year. And they said that one place that you might see negative numbers, probably not in Florida, is on a thermometer. So on a very cold day, the temperature may, if you live in Minnesota, drop below zero. So we might say the temperature is -4, -4. Okay, so I've got my number line set up here, and I wanted to go over a couple things before we get into the examples. What they're asking as we do this stuff is that you figure out how many units are between each thing. So if I want to know if the temperature goes from 5 down to 1, how many degrees did it drop? So we're looking at the spaces in between. So I'm not counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little tick marks. I'm counting the spaces in between. So 5 minus 1 is 4. Obviously we know that part. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces in between. So that's what we're looking at. Okay. Well, what if the temperature goes from 2 down to -2? How many spaces are in between? So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces in between. So 2 minus a -2 is going to be 4 spaces in between. It dropped 4 degrees. Okay. There's a whole lot about absolute value, and we don't have to know anything about that. We're just learning about temperature right now. But I did want to caution you, because I see this a lot, as people count the tick marks instead of the spaces. So that's kind of important. Okay, so on the first example, they have a little thermometer. I use this as my thermometer. Pretend like it's looks like a little bubble at the bottom. There, now it's a thermometer. Okay, so it says the high temperature for the day was 6 degrees. So I'm right up here at 6 degrees. It shows the low temperature during the night. So what is it showing? It's in between 10 and -10 and -20. Huh. So if I go to this one, and if you notice, there are not enough tick marks. There aren't 9 of them, right? So each one is 2 degrees. So if I start at 0 and go up, I'm going to say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that works out just right. So each one's 2 degrees. And the same on the thermometer in the book. So I know the thermometer in the book, it shows it one little tick mark below the 10. So right there. Oops, let's do that. So I'm going to go 2, 4, so -2, -4, -6, -8, -10. I kind of covered that up. -12, so -12 degrees. Okay. And if the high temperature was 6 degrees, and this is in Celsius, so it's not so crazy. So it's right there, and my low temperature is right there. So it went from here down to here. So how many degrees is that? I'm going to ignore all the numbers and just count the spaces. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So 18 spaces, so 18 degrees for example 1. Okay. You can find these online. I got these at Helping with Math. They're free. You can print them out. You can draw your own like I did on the first So these are probably easier. It helps if you can, I'm pretty good because I've done math forever and ever and ever and ever, but if you use a ruler, make all your spaces the same size, the best you can. So that's helpful. Okay, let's look at example 2. The highest temperature recorded in Death Valley is 134 degrees. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna run out of my little temperature things. I'll draw my own. So, okay, so 134 degrees, and the lowest is 15. So I don't need any negative numbers. So I'm gonna go 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, and then the 4 is right up there. Okay, so 15 degrees. So let's start there. So that's 10, there's 15. So right there. 20, 30, 40, 50. I'll just put that in there. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 10, 20, 30. So that's 130. And then that little one's 134, right? Huh. Can I just use the math? Do I need to count all that stuff? Not in this case. I can just say 134 minus 15. Yeah, oh, it's 135. Ah, so they're rounding. So they're using compatible numbers. 120 degree difference in one day. Whew, can you imagine that? I bet that really didn't happen in a day. But can you imagine if it did? It'd be like you were on Mars or something. Okay, example 3. Julius recorded the daily high temperature and low temperatures in the desert for a week. So this is all in a week. This is in Celsius, so it feels a little bit different than it would if we were talking about Fahrenheit. The scientists and people that use metric system use the Celsius scale. So the median high temperature. So what's the median? It's in the middle. Okay, so high temperature for the week. So I'm looking at my highs, and I'm going to put those in alphabetical order. In other words, from lowest to highest. It's not really alphabetical, but I'm going to go 20, 25, 30, 32, slide this over a little bit, let's see, 40, 45. Okay, so the median is the number in the middle, right? If they're in order. So go in 1, go in 1 more. Wait, I don't have a number in the middle, do I? Did I do it wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 2 32s. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and there's my number in the middle. So the median is 32. Okay, helps if you don't make silly mistakes. So count carefully. The mode. So median, it's like the middle of the road. Mode is most frequent. So does any number of the low temperatures occur more than once? So there's a 15, there's a 15, there's a 15. So 3 15s, right? Does anything else occur more often than 3 times? No. So the mode equals 15. And then the range of temperatures for the week is the highest and the lowest. So we're looking at what's the difference. It's like that thing we were doing with the thermometer. So the range equals highest minus lowest. So what's the highest? Blah, 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 45. What's the lowest? 11. Okay, so 45 minus 11 equals 34. can't do it that way, and sometimes I can and sometimes I can't, come over here and do it this way, and then it's easy to do. Okay, so 34. Huh. Okay. So, that's pretty easy, isn't it? So could these temperatures represent a week in your community? Why or why not? Well, I don't know. We'd have to translate from Celsius to Fahrenheit for most of you guys, right? So you could do that if you wanted to. Use digits and symbols to write the temperature that is 12 degrees below zero on the Fahrenheit scale. So they give you the thermometer. Now you just have to write it. So symbols, they mean negative signs. You don't have to put a positive sign. If it is positive, you just leave that off. So because it's going to be lower than zero, it's going to be a negative number. And what number are you going to write? 12, right? So A is going to be negative 12. There's your symbol. There's your number. What temperature is shown on this thermometer? Remember, they're counting by, this one they're not. They're counting by each tick mark as 1. You know how I know that? Because I have to go from 0 to 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually at every midpoint, they give you a little bit longer number. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each tick mark is 1. So what would that show you? It'd be a negative number. And what number is that? I'll let you guys figure that out. If the temperature shown on the thermometer is 14 degrees lower than the high temperature for the day, what was the high temperature? Let's think that through. So if this is 14 degrees below whatever the high was, can I add 14 degrees to that to get the high temperature? Sure. Count your tick marks. Sometimes it helps to break it into 2. How far do you have to go to get to 0 in this case? 5. And then how far do you have to go to get to 14? So 5 and then 14 minus 5, you're going to go up. If the temperature falls 3 degrees from this temperature shown, what will it be? So you're going to go down. So it's going to be a bigger number, even though it's a lower temperature, because it's negative. You're getting further away from 0. You guys okay on median? Remember, median is the one in the middle, like the median on the highway, middle of the highway. Mean is the average. So if I add up the high temperatures for the week and divide by how many temperatures I have, I can do that. So in order to find that average, I'm going to add up this, and then divide by 7, right? Okay, I think we're good to go. See you next time.